Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Beth Milligan from Milligan Strategies, and today we're talking about webinar basics and setting up your presentation through Google Slides and Keynote. You can also use PowerPoint. It's very similar to both Google Slides and Keynote. You'll notice once we work our way through these that they're similar, and PowerPoint will be no different. So thank you so much for joining me. Let's go ahead and get started here with Google Slides. So basically what you want to do is you want to sign into your Google account, and that's all that's required to do a slideshow with Google presentations here. And once you choose it, I just went up here and chose slides just like you would a document or an Excel type of file, and you want to start a new presentation. They do have quite a few different options, so you can scroll through these to see what catches your fancy. I like to start with my first webinar with something pretty basic, so we're just going to choose a professional profile here. And you'll notice that in Google Slides here, they give you a very nice quick layout already, which shows you some of the different options you can choose from for your layouts for your slides. So this is great if you're just getting started to kind of see what your options are, and maybe it'll give you some ideas for how to lay out your content. As you can see, just clicking my way through these, looking at some of these different slides. So that's what we're seeing along the left here. Along the top here, you're going to see some basic information that you're going to see in the different platforms as well. You've got your standard add a new slide. And if you want to use a new layout, you just click that drop down. It gives you some options. Undo, redo. You have your zoom. You have the ability to go ahead and add a text box. So say you wanted to use this slide, but you wanted a new text box down here. You wanted a little different shape. You can see how it gives you some guidelines here. Go ahead and just create your shape. You can add your text just like you would in the pre-made boxes, and you can edit that text here with the basic editing tools as well. Now say you've added your text and you've decided you don't like it, just highlight and delete. Really simple here. Also, if you wanted to add a second image, not a problem. Go ahead and just change the size of this image. Do your editing how you want. Go ahead and select the add image and upload a new image or choose your image. And it's that simple to go ahead and add a second image or edit one of the pre-made layouts here for you. You can also add shapes or lines, and you have some other options as well. You can also change the background color if you want. Maybe you wanted this to be black with white text. Go ahead and just click on that, and you can reset the theme as well if you don't like the changes you made. Also, say you've chosen a layout and you want to change the layout, no problem. Just go ahead and click New Layout. It'll keep your image or whatever information you had in here and change the layout. You can also change your theme, and if you notice here on the right side, they give you some theme options within the professional profile that we chose, and maybe you want something a little bit more fun. So you can go ahead and change that up, and notice it automatically makes the changes here in all of your slides, and it gives you some different fonts that they played with those and know it looks good together. Maybe you want to even go a little bit more black and white, basic here. Very easy to change your themes within. The next thing you want to pay attention to is adding transitions. And this is really nice as you're going through your webinar. You want to work your way through the presentation at your pace. So first things first is you want to add transitions going from one slide to the next. If you want to make it nice and simple, just go ahead and choose one that you like, and you can apply it to all slides, and you can change the speed as well, how quickly you want it to go from one slide to the next. If we hit play, you can see I've got it pretty slow and it flips to the next slide, which is great to slow down that speed, especially if you're, like I said, talking your way through your presentation and you're still talking but you want to queue up the next slide. The other thing to mention here is adding animation to your content here. So maybe you want these to come in one at a time. You want your slide to first appear with the skills and expertise, and then you want to slowly add these in. So I'm highlighting the text, and you notice that instead of just talking about the slide animation where that's going to flip in, we can add animation to the text. So we can choose that maybe we want these things to fly out to the right. On click is the important thing here. So when you choose by clicking, it will go in or out, and then you can choose the speed as well. And we want things to go by paragraph, so one at a time. So if we hit play here, it will flip between the slides, and then things will fly out. So notice how, and I did this on purpose so that you play with this. We don't want things to fly out. We want things to fly in, okay? So we want to make sure we're choosing appropriately for the content. If you want it to fly out based on your content, by all means, go ahead and set that up. But we'll go ahead and play this one more time so you can see here. It flips, then upon me clicking, it adds from the bottom, flying in from the bottom, each individual bullet. So again, you can walk your way through your webinar. So very awesome. Love setting up animations. My favorite part of putting a presentation together. So the next most important thing to know is that when you're ready to present, you just click on the present file. They do have some options here from the beginning with speaker notes in a new window. Depending on what platform you decide to set up, this will be how you choose to present. Most of the time, I just choose present from the beginning, and it takes over my computer because I am broadcasting my screen through my platform. It's as simple as that, you guys. Make sure that all things get saved before you leave, and then you just go back into Google Slides to retrieve your presentation when it's webinar time. So let's flip over here to Keynote, and let's just take a quick look at this. Same type of thing for you when you're setting it up. You get different options to choose from. As you notice with Keynote, you have a lot more options. You'll notice that with PowerPoint as well. But with the webinar, I don't like to get too carried away. I like to keep it pretty basic. So just choose something that grabs your fancy, and it will get you started. Notice one thing here. This one only starts you out in Keynote. They only start you out with one slide. And I apologize, my toolbar here is just out of reach, but all you need to do is go up and insert a new slide. So you go to slide and new slide, and it'll add slides for you, okay? And then you can change your slide layout and everything here on the right. So let's take a look more at this. So if I click on this, I want to edit the text. I click on text here. These are where your options are: style, text, and arrange. So make sure if you're new to Keynote, you play around in these areas and discover exactly where everything is that you need. So this is basic text type of content that you're editing. Also notice here is a layout option. So there are sometimes options within your options here for editing. So lots of options that you can pretty things up if you want, change things around however you want. And you'll notice, see, they have default fun bullets. You have different options to choose from as well. As different style and text and so forth to choose from. That's a little fun to add a nice fun border. So the other thing I'm going to talk about here, and I apologize again, things are just off the screen, but if you go up to View and Inspector, this is where you're going to change the information on the right here that you want to edit, okay? So if you decide you want to change your theme, you have some other different options that probably are not going to be applicable. You can also record your slideshow. But what I want you to do is go up and go View, Inspector, and Animate. This is where you're going to build your effects in that we were just talking about on Google Slides. And this is where you're going to add your effects. Okay, so add a transition. This is going from one slide to the next. You can start your transition on click. That's what you want. And they have a ton of options here to go ahead and add animation. So that is really neat. The other thing you want to notice is, let's go ahead and add some content in here so that you can see when we want to do the animation and build when we click the content, we want to add an effect here. And you can choose these as well, however you want them to work. The build out effect, this is if you want to add different effects for each. You can see that's a confetti, and you want to do it by bullet. So that way, upon clicking one bullet at a time, your content will come through. So that's how you add the animation in Keynote. So again, this is just a quick run through, you guys, of Google Slides and Keynote. Play. It's the basics though are there for you if you want to make a quick presentation. The content is key in the webinar, but these are great tools for you that help you build your webinar out and create a presentation. Remember also that if you don't have the time to build a presentation, you can always broadcast yourself with a whiteboard or something behind you if you need something to show content. So thank you guys so much for joining me. We'll be back with more webinar basics, talking platforms next. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again soon.